I see everyone coming in. We have a big turnout so far this morning. Thank you all for being here. This is the E&T All-Staff Virtual Meeting. Let me advance my slide. I'm Gina Romero with Training and Organizational Development. And so I'll give you a few updates and boilerplate things you'll need to know. So an update here pertains to our questions. So if you would like to submit a question for today's Q&A session, which is held at the end of each meeting, please feel free to do that. We would love that. Use the Zoom webinar Q&A feature to send your questions in. Don't send them through the chat. And then something that's a little bit new procedurally is that we want everyone's questions, but to avoid distractions during the presentations, to be fair to the presenters as well as the rest of the audience listening in, questions will now become visible once they've been answered. And then if for some reason we run out of time before getting to all the questions, all answers to all questions will be posted to the internet too. So that's new. And then for any new information, departmental news, campus news, please ensure that you're staying up to date by bookmarking our E&T intranet site, web link on SharePoint, and the that hyperlink that you see in yellow will be made available to you after today's session with the recording and in the PowerPoint. Also E&T news bulletins, Tony's Topics that comes out once a month, and TV screen. So make sure you're checking in and plugging into all of those great things for updates. So without further ado, I'll send it over to Tony Lucas.
Thank you, Gina. I appreciate that. And warm welcome to everyone who's joining us today. I get the honor and privilege of introducing you to a few of the new faces and people on the move. Slide, please. Yeah. So first up is Brian Campillo, who's recently been promoted to Space Utilization Manager, going through the process. Congratulations, Brian. Next is Courtney Obwehi, who has just become Asset's newest Senior Project Manager. Again, going through that process, and we appreciate each of you managing your careers and applying for those positions, and looking forward to working with Courtney in his new role. Also on the move is Darren Naruse, who's currently the acting general manager for transit operations in Fleet and Transit. So already seeing some great things from Darren in this role, and look forward to working with him while we go through the recruitment process to fill that position permanently. Next on the move is Giovanni Rodriguez. Gio is Fleet and Transit's newest business operation analyst, and again, another person on the move. So big welcome to Sana Ahmed, who is MPTS's newest senior planner. She's coming in and replacing Emily, who's working LA 28 stuff downtown. Next we have Jeff Credidio, who is F&T's office coordinator, office manager. Already seen some amazing things from Jeff over the past, I guess it's been about a month now. So welcome, Jeff. And welcome to Autumn Diego, who is a paratransit Bruin Access van operator in Fleet and Transit. So wonderful to have a new member on that team as we continue to serve our whole community. And a warm welcome to Jasmine Hayes, who is another operator, a Bruin bus operator, just came on with us for Fleet and Transit. So look forward to seeing all of you out there in your new roles and in your new jobs. And welcome to the E&T family. And finally, I think it's finally, Vanetta Taylor, again, a Bruin bus transit operator. Welcome, Vanetta. I often ride the Bruin bus, so I look forward to seeing you out there en route.
All right, wonderful. Thanks so much, Tony, and welcome to everyone. Next, I'll pass it over to Kimberly Villarreal. All right, and Kimberly, I don't know if you're unmuted or not.
Hi,
We
everyone.
No, you're doing great. Perfect. We can see your slide and
Hi,
we can hear
everyone.
you.
Sorry about that. Here to talk about employee services. Hiring requests are required for all new job postings and extensions of employment. So please plan to submit any staffing requests to employee services as soon as possible to minimize any delays. Hiring requests continue to be submitted to the Vice Chancellor Hiring Committee on a weekly basis, and the average approval time has been 1 to 2 months. The start of fall quarter is a busy time for everyone. Check one thing off your list by submitting your new student hires for fall early. The E&T student hire form is located on the intranet, but please reach out to Employee Services if you have any questions. Regarding E&T and CTO job postings, we have several up there. We have the dispatch supervisor contract, transit bus attendant, paratransit van operator, and the room bus transit operator. These are the current E&T and CTO job postings. Please feel free to review any job postings that may interest you or refer someone you feel would be a good match for the position. Regarding health and human resources, as stated in the email sent by Chancellor Frank on July 15, 2025, all mandatory training must be completed by the assigned due date. If not up to date, you are urged to complete training by September 1st, 2025. Topics include cybersecurity awareness, sexual violence and sexual harassment prevention, and workplace violence prevention. Training can be accessed through the UCLA Learning Center at lms.ucla.edu. If you have trouble accessing the UC Learning site, please contact Kimberly Villarreal for assistance. Training and organizational development. We have our mentoring program. The department-wide mentoring program launched successfully with meaningful mentor-mentee pairs. Early feedback shows positive impact on confidence, goal setting, and collaboration. Midpoint Mixer coming soon to support ongoing engagement. Project Management Training. A new PMP designated series kicks off this month. Participants will build core project management skills and gain practical tools for application on the job. Strategic Planning Retreats coming up this fall and facilitated by TOD. Finance and Budget. With Eric Liu's retirement, the finance team has been integrated into the central administration team under Steve Wang. Fiscal close is anticipated to be finalized by mid to late August. Year-end statements will be issued sometime in September. Regarding digital technology solutions known as DTS, ChatGPT is available this fall. DTS has negotiated a new low-cost license agreement with OpenAI for ChatGPT EDU. There are two options that will be released: ChatGPT Core and ChatGPT Advanced that will be launched fall 2025 for both employees and students at a discounted rate. A more detailed campus-wide communication will be shared in the coming weeks. In addition, at a later date, this may include connectors from ChatGPT to Box, Slack, Outlooks, and others. A new AI literacy platform, Trainings, will also soon be available to all faculty and staff. Regarding endpoint, laptops, computers, phones, and standardization, E&T has moved to the standardized DTS endpoints for all new deployments and streamlined support, ensuring compatibility with all standard offerings and ensure consistency across the campus. Standard models include options from Dell and Apple, which have been chosen to meet the majority of end users' needs. Endpoint vulnerability and management. E&T onboarding and agent deployment required by the UCOP mandate is complete. More specific communication to E&T will be coming shortly from our DTS endpoint team regarding changes or things you may not notice regarding your laptops and desktops, such as pop-up notices regarding Windows and application updates and patching. Data enrichment of all assets is currently ongoing into the new Campus Configuration Management Database, known as CMDB, with a 100% completion compliance deadline of December 19th. Now I'm going to kick it over to Robin regarding employment engagement.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful summer. Let's get ready to get ready here. So I wanted to take the next couple minutes to share with you what's been happening in regards to our employee recognition programs. So in case you've missed it on the internet, in the E&T news bulletin, or on the TV screens, wanted to go back in time and start where we left off with our Employee of the Month recipients. So back in April, we recognized Courtney Owehe from our parking assets team. He was our operational employee of the month. And we also had Zenya Chamorro from mobility planning and traffic systems. And she was our administrative employee of the month. Now for the month of April, a very familiar face, we had Rick Knowles from Parking Enforcement, and we had Cheryl Richard from Strategy and Business Analysis for our May Employee of the Month recipients. June, we had Yolanda Luna for Parking Enforcement, and we had David Ruvacaba from Bruin Commuter Programs. Way to knock it out of the park, Enforcement, 2 months in a row. Pretty impressive. For the month of July, we had Josue Antonio Soriano from our valet team and Yvette Demond from Strategy and Business Analysis. So virtual applause to them for their hard work and dedication and keeping our department moving forward. Now, for our student employee of the month, we had Emily Garcia from Parking Assets. She was our April student employee of the month. And then for May, we had Gabriel Soria from our valet team. For the month of June, we had Alexa Bettinger from Bruin Commuter Programs. And to close out July, we had Parker Batin from Parking Assets. So another round of applause. We couldn't do what we do so well without all of our student support. So one thing we could probably all agree on is this has been a fast-moving summer, and as we're coming to a close, wanted to take a couple minutes to just highlight some of the really fun activities and celebrations that we had this past summer. So we kicked off the month of June with our Employee of the Year celebration. Great day. We enjoy some lunch and recognize our Employee of the Month recipients, and of course, announce our 2 Employee of the Year honorees. This year, we recognized Robert Uoa from our events office team. He was our operational employee of the year. And then, of course, Giovanni Rodriguez was our administrative employee of the year, and he is from Strategy, Business, and Analysis. So huge rounds of applause to them. Employee of the year, stellar work throughout all the months. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, if that celebration wasn't enough excitement, we decided, hey, let's have one of our awesome employee celebrations back up at Dixon Court. Had a great time up there. We played volleyball, pickleball, shared in some great conversation, and really enjoyed some great barbecue. And as you can see, there was a lot of fun to be had with all the smiling faces. Not sure how we've missed this all these years, but we finally wrangled up as many employees as we could for that team photo. So great day. And then we closed out the month of June. This is always bittersweet, saying goodbye to our friends and colleagues that retire. This year we had Cheryl Richard from Strategy, Business, and Analysis who retired. She had 10 years with Events and Transportation. Then we also had Eric Liu from Business Finance who hit that 20-year mark. So hopefully as we're sitting in these rooms and listening to these presentations, they're enjoying some well-deserved rest and relaxation. So this past Monday, see, I told you we were exploding with celebrations and recognizing our employees. This past Monday, we had our quarterly milestone celebration where we recognized 4 employees for hitting that 10+ year mark. So quickly, I want to recognize Clinton Bench from Fleet and Transit for hitting 10 years, as well as Jonah Lamas from Commuter and Parking Service Administration. So then we decided, hey, let's just skip a decade and a half. And we recognized Chensa Hill. She spent the majority of her time with the events office, but now she's kind of shifted over to supporting LA 28 for the Summer Olympics. So she was recognized for 25 years. And no small feat, Tony Eric, 35 years. That is pretty darn amazing. So Tony is from our parking enforcement team, and kudos to all of them. And we cannot say we appreciate you any more than we already have. Kudos to all of you. So now I would like to shift this over to Central Ticket Office so Andrew can tell you about all the exciting things happening over there.
Thank you, Robin.
Mhm.
And good morning, everybody. My name's Andrew Lamb. I am with the UCLA Central Ticket Office, and I would just like to provide a quick little overview of the CTO for this past fiscal year. Just as a reminder, the CTO provides ticketing services for UCLA departments as well as outside promoters holding ticketed events on campus, as well as some off-campus venues. What this really equated to was this past fiscal year, we ticketed 466 total events that consisted of some of our major clients, which are athletics, performing arts, athletics. We had 256 events. Performing arts, we did 65 events. And then we also ticketed commencement ceremonies, which equated to 56 ceremonies. In terms of ticket numbers, we distributed 1.1, almost 1.2 million tickets. 981,000 of that was for athletic events, 25,000 was for performing arts, and then a big whopping 121,000 commencement tickets. Like I mentioned, all of these include ticketed events that take place in campus venues such as Royce Hall, Free Playhouse, Poly Pavilion, as well as venues that are off campus, such as at the Rose Bowl Stadium, the Clark Library in Mid-City, as well as the United Theater that's in downtown LA. All these events and all these tickets essentially really equated to about $23 million in ticket revenue that was brought in for the university. In addition to these tickets, through our partnership with E&T, and now as being part of E&T, we also distributed over 24,000 transit passes. I just want to highlight a few accomplishments that we have had over the past year. For the Center for the Art of Performance, they continue to hold their core events for this season at the Nimoy Theater that was renovated about 2 years ago. And so they just completed their second full year at this new theater. And with that, they are also venturing now into renting out the venue to outside promoters to fill in the theater a little more fully on the calendar year. In addition to that, Center for the Art of Performance also has continued to host multi-night performances within Royce Hall that are produced by outside promoters such as the LA Ballet and Angel City Chorale. From an athletic standpoint, UCLA Athletics completed its first full season as part of the Big Ten Conference. Some of their accomplishments were the men's water polo won UCLA's 124th NCAA title. The women's basketball team reached the Final Four. Softball and baseball both reached their College World Series. And in total, 10 teams won their conference championship. Although the CTO does, not have a play in the actual success of the teams and how well they do on the field or the court, what this did translate to was an 8% increase actually in the overall tickets distributed year over year for athletics, which equated to a 14% increase in the actual ticket revenue that was brought in for these tickets that were sold. Another accomplishment that we wanted to highlight is we had a new client this past year, which was the UCLA Center for the 17th and 18th Century Studies. And they produced a season of 7 concerts, which were held at the William Andrews Clark Memorial Library in Mid-City. This is obviously not on campus. What this meant was we had to provide a mobile cashless operation that included ticket sales, customer service, and scanning on site at the venue. So this was no small feat for us, but it was something that we took a challenge as a head-on, and we found it to be really successful. And they are actually holding another 7 concert season this fiscal year there, and which we are ticketing for as well. One last accomplishment I wanted to highlight was we worked with our ticket software provider to actually upgrade our online ticket purchasing website to make it more mobile friendly, as well as simplify the purchase flow. So that way, whether you are looking at our site on a desktop or on your phone, it's a very similar view, as well as when you are looking at it on the phone, it is very mobile friendly. There's no images or text or languages that are, smaller size because it's optimized for a desktop. It's all now optimized for your phone, and so that is mobile friendly, as that is where everyone is primarily doing a lot of their business and purchasing on. And with that, I am going to pass it on to Paulino with CNPS.
Hi everyone, my name is Pauline and I'm part of the BCP team. Today I will be presenting updates on commuter and parking services. So CNPS developed goals for all terms in 2022 to guide efforts from fiscal year 2023 to 2026. The goals have been reflecting progress made over the years and to incorporate all technological advancements. The CRM team had a busy spring quarter helping our customers from mid-March to mid-July. They closed 2,658 customer cases and answered 4,207 phone calls. Their dedication continues to enhance the overall customer experience and ensure timely support for our community. The CRM team also collaborated with parking assets and facility management to launch 2 new customer intake forms for parking structure improvements and EV maintenance requests. They feature a tracking system to keep customer and staff updated on request status. So the forms are also available on our transportation website. And the Flex Forward is an evolution of T2 Flex. It features a brand new, highly improved user experience designed to enhance our daily parking operations that is faster and easier to navigate. It will streamline parking operations while standardizing permit policy and pricing. It would improve customer service and data management for us. And this year, we are seeing continued growth in daily permit sales and rising demand for parking across campus. And over 703,000 daily permits were sold for fiscal year 2024 to 2025, which is an 11.5% increase from the fiscal year of 2023 to 2024. Many parking structures are now operating at over 90% occupancy. So this trend highlights an ongoing need for active space monitoring and management as campus activity grows. So this quarter, CRA reviewed 6,469 appeals out of 14,520 citations issued. Appeals are processed in an average of 16 days, with about 20% resulting in dismissal. We're seeing a downward trend due to improved citation accuracy and campus compliance. So break room remodel is underway. The temporary break room is in conference room 157. Now we are having our pay station request for proposal, expanding parking sensor technology with Java and Echo, and electric vehicle service equipment request for proposal as well. And we're now preparing for dorm moving from September 18th to September 22nd with housing and parking enforcement. We're also getting ready for early season basketball events. And on the tech side, Flix license plate recognition is now fully integrated, improving vehicle tracking and entrance and exit flow. Additionally, we are shifting from coupon codes to off-street parking validation for better tracking and user experience. So here's an example of the new user interface for off-street parking validation. Instead of using traditional coupon codes, users now enter their license plate number through this interface, which is integrated with our license plate recognition system. So direct departmental involvement has improved decision-making and responsiveness. The Smart Sheet form helps streamline the progress and operations. As a result, we've seen better tracking, faster approvals, and reduced space misuse with planning and construction. New parking control signs have been installed at all medical facility entrances and exits. In preparation for the upcoming tailgating prevention project, the signs featured messaging aimed at curbing misuse, tailgating to exit without paying, forcing gates open, and bypassing parking equipment. So we've added key features to improve clarity and compliances, including clear tiered parking rates for short-term visits, strategic messaging to prevent misuses, and a reference to California Vehicle Code 21113A to reinforce enforcement. And a standardized customer support page was also launched to simplify access to parking resources. Thank you, everyone.
Good morning. My name's Rylan Liu, and I'm the Senior Traffic Planner and Mobility Planning Traffic Systems. If you ever see a guy in a fedora around the office in a colorful shirt, that's me. Say hi, I don't bite unless it's 5 minutes to lunchtime. And I'm going to be talking about the work our unit is doing today. So firstly, we, as Tony mentioned, have a new active transportation planner, Sana Ahmed. Please give Sana a warm welcome. She's already doing pretty great work on the campus. We also, in the past year, have digitized our campus pedestrian pathways using an AI-enabled 360-degree high-accuracy camera called GeoCam. And this map on the right side here shows some of the assets that we've digitized, the ADA assets and sidewalks in this platform. In a few weeks, Charles E. Young Drive South between Westwood Plaza and Gailey by the Cogen plant is reopening for traffic. So make sure to look both ways when you cross Charles E. Young Drive South by the police department. And finally, e-scooter device registration is going to be set up this year by Sana. We are planning to roll out a registration requirement this year to improve safety and be able to keep better track of our scooter population. So that was active transportation. The second pillar of mobility planning traffic systems is the traffic systems, which is me. We recently, over a 6-month period, expanded the Charles E. Young Drive North bus pad. There are now bus pads on both the north and south sides, which expands capacity. Also safer operations with sidewalks on the north side and bus pads on the south side, so kids don't have to cross in the middle of the street when school groups come to campus. For our next step on this project, we're going to reserve or set aside the north side of the bus pad for bus parking so that vehicles doing active pickup and drop off can only use the south side, which is more convenient for them. And a big thank you to Brian and Carol for working on setting up that reservation system. New benches were installed this past month by the Luskin Conference Center. You see these teak benches by the LBT and Broom Bus Stop. They're already getting good use. So thank you to facilities on that. And then as of this week, the traffic signal at Westholm and Charles E. Young Drive East has been removed and replaced with always stop control. We are also in the process of adding new crosswalk and accessibility features. Concrete work to add a new curb ramp on the southwest corner is being done this week, and then a new crosswalk on the south side, PS2, will be put in next week. In terms of the future, looking ahead, as always, we are working to upgrade and expand our traffic cameras to improve monitoring on campus, and are looking at demoing and installing smart signal technologies at locations, starting with Broonwalk. Public transit, which this is our transit programs and transit projects. Metro released the draft environmental impact report for the Sepulveda Transit Corridor project on June 2nd, 2025. This proposed high-capacity rail line will connect the San Fernando Valley to the west side and eventually LAX, offering significant congestion relief along the 405. Metro is evaluating 5 alternatives, including heavy rail and monorail, with 4 of the options including a direct station at UCLA. If constructed, this line would serve more than 120,000 daily riders and cut travel between the valley and the west side to just 20 minutes. Public comment is open through August 30th, 2025. If you're interested in reviewing the project or submitting a personal comment in support of the time-sensitive alternatives, please visit stcforall.org. In terms of our more programmatic side, the Broon Tap Transit Portal successfully launched this summer. Students and employees can now purchase and manage their transit passes directly through the Broon Tap portal, creating a more seamless process for both customers and staff. Summer pass sales were completed entirely through the platform, and preparations are already underway for fall sales. This launch and its continued success would not have been possible without the support of the Technology Project Management Group, MBE&T units that assisted with testing, rollout, and ongoing operations. Thank you to those teams for their hard work in making this system successful. And finally, our sustainability efforts, which is very important to us. We submitted UCLA's 2024 greenhouse gas emissions, commuter greenhouse gas emissions report to University California Office of the President on August 1st. This is in line with the UC policy on sustainable practices, so it's an annual thing. And we each year calculate the greenhouse gas emissions from mode splits from our AQMD for employee and commuter, student commuter for our student surveys to determine what the drive alone traffic to and from campus is, and then use various inputs to calculate greenhouse gas emissions from driving based on that. For 2024, UCLA's commuter emissions were calculated at 55,473 metric tons of carbon equivalent. In collaboration with our Be Well group, Healthy Campus Initiative, and the art agency Beautify Earth, MPTS is leading a project to transform 14 traffic signal utility boxes with artwork showcasing native flora and fauna, alongside themes of sustainable transportation, renewable energy, and conservation. The artists have been working at site throughout the summer, and the full project is expected to be completed by the end of September. Finally, recent AQMD survey results show EVs or electric vehicles now comprising up 10% or over 10% of our commuter fleet, which is up from 9.4% in 2024. This places UCLA among the largest EV commuter populations in the country. Actually, more EVs associated with the UCLA commuter fleet than with some in states, like smaller states like Alaska and South Dakota. And that is it.
All right, thanks, Rylan. Good morning, everybody. As Tony mentioned earlier, my name is Jeff Credidio, and I'm the new office coordinator for Fleet and Transit. I've been here for a couple of months now, and I'm really happy to be a part of Events and Transportation. This is my first all-staff meeting, and I'm excited to present to you all today on behalf of Fleet and Transit. So this is our title slide. As you can see, we have 3 key themes that we wanted to hit on. As we begin a new academic year, I'm proud to share how Fleet and Transit has worked to improve the experience for our internal partners and colleagues. Our focus has been on removing administrative barriers, streamlining operations, and supporting the UCLA community with reliable, sustainable, and responsive transportation services. One such thing is we recently launched the RIDE program, which is the Registry for Integrated Driver Enrollment. Previously, we struggled to keep track of who was still driving, who had left, and how to update our records. The RIDE program automates removals and simplifies new entries, making our driver management more accurate and far less labor-intensive. This supports our internal partners by reducing confusion and ensures our team stays focused on safety and compliance. And here are a couple of screenshots of the actual software platform that was built. There's a dashboard where you can track metrics, manage data, and produce reports. Another new project we're excited about is the recent addition of a new billing module to our FMIS software platform. FMIS stands for Fleet Management Information System. The new billing module doesn't just make our internal process smoother, it empowers our partners. So they can now access detailed billing and fleet data on demand, improving transparency and reducing the need for custom reports. This frees up our staff to focus on higher value work and strengthens trust with the departments that we serve. The transit yard electrification. This upgrade is a win for both sustainability and operations. Removing the old CNG compressor freed up space for paratransit parking and reduced a major power draw, allowing us to expand electric vehicle charging capacity. We have already installed 2 new connections and are planning 14 more. To address immediate reliability concerns, we temporarily added 2 lightly used CNG buses to replace older vehicles that were no longer functional. This was a short-term solution to support our drivers and maintain service while we continue progressing toward full electrification of our bus fleet. Brew & Car EV chargers. We installed new electric vehicle chargers on campus. As we transition to an all-EV Brew & Car fleet, reliable charging is essential. These new chargers are networked to optimize load sharing and ensure our internal partners have access to fully charged vehicles when they need them. They also support broader university use when capacity allows, maximizing value and reinforcing our commitment to zero-emission transportation. Our CRM partnership. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. We initiated this partnership to better serve our community and support our team. By shifting basic customer service to trained CRM student worker agents, we've reduced wait times for users and freed up our coordinator and auto attendant to focus on what they do best, getting vehicles ready and out the door. This change improves both service quality and internal efficiency. And lastly, the Brew & Access expansion. Expanding and standardizing our Brew & Access fleet directly supports our most mobility-challenged community members. With 4 interchangeable vehicles, our team can train more efficiently and navigate complex areas like North Village with greater confidence. This upgrade enhances accessibility, reliability, and equity in our transit services. To close, as we begin a new academic year, we plan to continue building on this momentum. These accomplishments reflect our commitment to service, innovation, and sustainability. We've made it easier for our partners to work with us, supported our own staff with better tools and workflows, and responded to community needs with empathy and action. As we move forward, we will continue listening, improving, and partnering to make transportation at UCLA even better. Thank you. And on that note, I'm going to pass it to my colleague, Tarek Ramsey, over in the events office.
Thank you, Jeff, and welcome, once again, welcome to the events and transportation team. Hello, everyone. My name is Tarek Ramsey, and I am event manager with the UCLA Events Office. To begin this year's review, I'd like to share a quick update on our office restructuring. As many of you know, Chinshaw Hill has transitioned to serve as Senior Director, Olympic and Paralympic Village, and chair of the UCLA LA28 Coordinating Committee. In the meantime, Bill Sweeney is serving as acting director through December 2028. With the more events happening across campus, our team has also grown. The event management team is now 7 members strong, with our newest addition, Anisha Velez, joining us this year. We've also made improvements to our classroom request process. Stacy Tate and Alana Velarde Sepulveda have helped update and streamline the events online system for both external clients and UCLA departments. We will now be accepting all departmental classroom inquiries via a new request form. Instead of relying on email, this form will gather all the required information to confirm a classroom reservation. In most cases, the events online profile is required to confirm classroom or outdoor space reservations. If a profile is needed, full-time staff can request one directly through our website. Now moving on to events. This past year has been an especially exciting one. A few highlights include the D.D. Hirsch 5K Run Walk for suicide awareness, a new client event that was so successful they plan to return this September. The Lancome and Olivia Rodrigo activation will brought strong student engagement to Wilson Plaza. The 37th annual Jazz Reggae Festival returning to main campus after being held at Sunset Rec and other locations. The UCLA Law School 75th anniversary celebration hosted at Royce Quad, and the film I Know What You Did Last Summer, released in theaters this July, which features several UCLA locations. Looking ahead, we have a strong lineup of upcoming events. The LA Rams girls flag football event, which combines high school competition with mentorships from sports professionals. The Kit Kat Break Brothers activation, a commercial filmed across campus featuring the Break Brothers helping students. The LA Loves Alex Lemonade, returning this October to Royce Quad, raising funds for pediatric cancer research. The LA Cancer Challenge 5K Run Walk, another impactful event supporting cancer research. And Bruin Family Weekend, always a special opportunity for families to connect with the campus community. These are just a few examples of the many events our office manages, but they highlight the variety, impact, and visibility of the work we do. Thank you for your time, and I now pass it over to Gina.
So I think that concludes our presentations for today. So I'm going to kick it over to Steve Wang, who is helping facilitate the questions and answers.
Thanks, Robin. As of right now, actually, all of the questions submitted to the Q&A have been answered. I'll go through them then, since we have a few minutes. I know some people, if you've been just watching the presentations, you may not have seen the answers come into the Q&A. But again, also, we always post these to the intranet afterwards, or they're posted to the intranet by the administration, marketing, and communications team. And you can find all the answers there, as well as answers to questions from previous Q&A sessions. So real quick, looks like the MPTS presentation really garnered a lot of attention today, which is a great thing. There was a question asking if it'd be possible to have permanent or temporary trash cans placed along that new bus pad location at CEY North and South if possible. And Dave Karwoski from MPTS had noted that was a good and interesting idea, and they'll make the request. So Dave, looking forward to hearing back from your team on an update on that one, maybe at the next all-staff meeting or something.
Sure.
And Dave, if you have an extra comment on any of these, feel free to take over. Actually, don't let me speak for you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We'll submit a FSR request to facilities, and there will soon be a trash bin on that north sidewalk. Certainly, the south side, they'll take a look at and see if there are existing trash bins, and if not, they can place one there too.
I'm writing up a request as this is being answered. So
Thank you. Good service.
Great, Dave. Thanks, Ryland. And there's an interesting question having to do with lobbyists on behalf of UCLA. I know, Tony, you gave a pretty extensive answer to that already, and I encourage the audience members to read through it right now, or if you have time later when it's posted to the intranet. I don't want to read it all back word for word or anything, but Tony, did you have anything else to add on that topic?
No, I would just say that there are considerable resources that UCLA and the UC have in order to advocate for new legislation affecting mobility, parking, and the areas we're generally responsible for. We also have contracted, as David reminded me, that we have a lobbyist paid working with us on STC issues specifically. And we have several members of E&T that are a member of the board of directors for the California Mobility and Parking Association, and have access to a legislative committee and a paid lobbyist for general parking, non-UCLA type of issues. But we have several members of the UC system and the CSU system are also on that board and tend to advocate for parking and transportation issues related to higher education.
Great. Thank you, Tony. Another question that come in, like I said, Ryland's presentation kicked up a lot of interest today. And there was a question that actually I think, I had asked over the years probably to Dave Kay and members of MPTS as well regarding a bus or train coming from the South Bay, because there aren't, for those of you who are like us and we live in the South Bay, there aren't a whole lot of convenient options using public transportation to get to UCLA. And I know they had worked really hard to put in that Long Beach transit line, which works great for those of you who who it works for. You can see Dave's response there in our Q&As. To our members of MPTS here, did you have anything else to add on this topic?
No, just a note about Ryland reminding me about the K line. The light rail line will eventually be extended to Torrance, but Steve, that's around the time when your son may be looking to go to UCLA. This is far off in the future. We've talked to Torrance a number of times and have not gotten them to bite and actually create a commuter line. But it's been probably a year or so since we've last talked to them, so no reason to not go back and open the discussion again. I would also encourage people who live in those municipalities to send in requests to their own city council or city manager requesting such service, because it's one thing when an outside entity parachutes in and says, hey, you should bring a bus up here. It's a little bit better when their own constituents apply some political pressure.
just to add briefly on that, so this still isn't great, but there is, with the new LAX Transit Center and sort of the filling of the gap on the K line to C line connection, if you're going from Redondo Beach up to campus, it's just a one transfer ride. You can just take the K line up to LAX Transit Center and then transfer to the CCB 6, which goes directly to the Gateway, but it would be like over an hour and a half each way.
Got it. Great. Thanks for the update, guys. There was another question that I actually answered, and it had to do with our change to the Q&A format, where now you don't see the questions until they've been answered. So I already gave the written response, but long story short, we received comments from a number of people who had been attending or presenting at our last, I think, January and April all-staff meetings that they felt like a lot of the attention was being drawn away from the presentations themselves because of what was going on in the Q&A. So we don't want that, especially since a lot of the speakers they're doing this for the first time. They've worked really hard to put these presentations together. I mean, we do rehearsals and everything. Things don't always go right, but we do our best. So a lot of effort does go into it, and we want to make sure to acknowledge that and to give them our full attention. That being said, we absolutely want to hear everyone's questions. We want to hear their concerns. So, please continue to submit them to the Q&A. Like Gina said before, either we'll answer it either in a written or verbal format during the all-staff meeting, or if for some reason we just run out of time or don't have, or no one submits a good answer during the meeting for a question, we'll make sure that they are all provided with answers when we post them, when AMC posts them to the intranet. So hopefully that addresses that question. I know it's hard to come up with a perfect Q&A format. I apologize if the change maybe takes away from the experience for some of you, but we'll still try to answer the questions as quickly as we can so that, maybe if you have an add-on to a question or a follow-up after you see an answer, you still have time to submit that, and then we can answer that one as well. And there was another quick question in there. You see there was a follow-up to a question about the trash cans.
Yeah, and then there was also one, I answered that one about the trash cans, meaning cans, not bins, not the giant bins, but the typical cans you see around campus. The last question about, can you connect people to do that kind of outreach to our local government? I don't know who lives near me. So I think what you're asking is, can we have government and community relations, their local team, reach out to both Torrance and perhaps Gardena to talk about that? We can do that and coordinate or collaborate with them on inquiring and almost to some degree giving those municipalities a little bit of pressure. What we've done in the past is, when Abdullah was here and we worked with Long Beach, we showed the municipality, look at all the people that live in the Bruins that live there, and there would surely be enough people to take whatever bus route you would create. And they said, yeah, that's true, but how do we know they would take the bus? So we went and did a survey and surveyed our Bruins. There were about 2,000 people who lived in the Long Beach Transit Service area. And by and large, there were certainly enough people that Long Beach Transit said, oh yeah, good point, you're right. We would do that again with Torrance. I believe we've done that previously, and you put it on a plate and show them that this will work. That's the idea. So we will get going on re-engaging with Gardena and Torrance. Thanks for the questions.
All right, thanks, Dave. And Dave was referring to another question that had been submitted in the Q&A, and he was in the midst of typing an answer to it. So that's what he was answering here. I see something in the Q&A where someone just says, is thanking us. So great. Hope people are enjoying these presentations. Let's see. I can see that a number of people are typing answers to questions right now. I'm checking to see if there's anything else, though, that's not being addressed. I know we've only got a few minutes left, and a lot of people have other meetings to go to at 11 o'clock. And if any of you who are typing answers wish to answer live, feel free. Otherwise, keep on typing. And again, if we run out of time and people are typing up answers, they will still get posted to the intranet. But I'm not seeing anything unassigned or anything new as of this moment. A few more minutes left. Last call, people, if you want to submit one last question, or you weren't sure to ask it or not, you can submit it. You can still submit questions anonymously. That's that's what most people are doing, and that's perfectly fine. We have no problem with that. But just kind of putting out a last call here for Q&A questions.
Steve, I would also say that, outside of the all-staff meetings, they can find or have our email. So feel free to email myself, or I'm sure the other members of the SMT at your leisure when convenient for you, and we would respond and answer your question.
All right. Great. Appreciate that, Dave. It's very accessible of you. I do see
Steve,
one question.
Sorry, Steve, just, it's Gina real quick. Do you want, for those who are typing, since we're running out of time. Well, did you want to invite panelists to answer verbally instead of typing?
Yeah, I did that. I said that they could speak if they'd like, or they could just keep on typing. I'll go ahead and answer
Yeah.
one live now. Someone had asked regarding how our group had asked everyone to update flex work agreements, and they're no longer indefinite. I think they were given a expiration date of like end of the fiscal year or something like that. And the question was, does that mean hybrid schedules can change in the future, or we may be required to come in person more often? Technically, the answer to does that mean our hybrid schedules can change in the future? That's always been the case. Hybrid schedules could always change based on the needs of the role, the needs of the business, the employee performance, things like that. It's just been great that I don't think we've had to change hybrid schedules for many employees, if any, at least not against their will. But technically, those are always open to being changed if there is a change, as far as how we would evaluate whether or not someone or a job could be done from home. Or may we be required to come in person more often? I will say this, maybe this will be more clear. That was not the intent of this exercise. What we want to do is actually just more formalize the actual agreements. Updating them once a year gives us visibility into, some of the schedules actually people had changed them and they had not updated their flex work agreements because we didn't really have a process asking people to do it. That they could have come to maybe Kimberly and my group and said, hey, one of my days is going to change and, or something has changed in our group, but people were changing it on their own and not updating the agreements. So we figured if we just have one time during the year where we update all of them, even if nothing has changed, then it's just a rubber stamping. At least we will catch everything and we will have, basically a up-to-date snapshot of all of the flex work agreements. So we figured doing it once a year hopefully shouldn't be too onerous on anyone. But no, it's not a signal or anything that people are going to be expected to come in more often. Nothing else had changed. It was just a procedural change. So, sorry, I know we've only got a minute left. I don't know if it looks like some other questions have been answered in typed format. So I encourage those of you who have the time to stick around for a minute or two to read those answers. If there are any that we didn't get to, again, they will be added to the intranet. So, and I appreciate those of you on the panel who have answered these questions. I don't have time to go through them right now. But I do appreciate it. So there is I think maybe one other question came in just now that we don't have time to answer. But again, everything that was submitted, it will be answered at least in a typed format and put up on the intranet. Okay.
We very definitely appreciate all of your questions and we'll respond to them all. You've been heard.
Great. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you to our senior management team, and thank you to all of you for participating in the all-staff meeting today. So be on the lookout for the recording coming to your inbox and Q&A being posted to the intranet. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.